Hi, hello, good morning, good evening, namaste, namaskar, and vanakkam. We've just marched into the month of March, which signifies the closing of the financial year, arousing thoughts about saving schemes, budgets, funds, expenses, and so on. We, the team at the Spectrum Autism, bring to you this evening, in the 67th session of the Talk to the Expert series, the importance of financial planning for parents of children on the spectrum. It is evident that parents with children on the spectrum have less time to attend to their financial planning, hence, spending less time, energy, and money supporting each other outside of their child's needs. So, financial planning becomes even more critical for them. Financial planning sounds a bit complex to me. And to define this and more associated queries, we have our special guest, Chitra Iyer, with us this evening. Chitra is the CEO of MFA Capital Private Limited, formerly MFA Consulting Private Limited, and has been a strong pillar for MFA since 2005. With her ability to plan strategically, she has been instrumental in creating the culture and brand of MFA. She's a cost accountant and certified financial planner with 20 years experience in the financial services sector. Chitra is a super enthusiastic individual. All those who know her will agree with me, I know. And she is passionate to make a meaningful difference in people's lives through the right goal based investing for the family. Being a special need parent herself, mom to 24-year-old blissful, handsome Shravan. Yes, I repeat, handsome Shravan. She is the trustee of the Forum for Autism, Mumbai, an NGO and parent support group for parents of children with autism since 2000. She has been and is an advocate for rights of people with autism and is actively involved in campaigns to raise awareness and educate parents, professionals, and laymen all about autism. To me, she's a dear friend and a very kind and down to earth individual. Without any further delay, let me welcome Chitra Iyer.
Hi, Vani.
Hi, Chitra.
Hi.
First of all, thank you so much for accepting to join us today. A few words.
Most welcome. And I'm extremely happy that Dr. Shivali thought about me. And I'm most happy that I'm here chatting with you. Other than our usual chats that we have on the phone or when we meet, this is a very different platform. And I'm looking forward to sharing the space with you.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. And I think we are lucky to get you today. My first question, or maybe I think it's not just my question, a lot of parents have this in mind. Financial planning. What does this actually mean? And what does this include?
See, just like you and me, when we first started earning, when we got money from our parents, we always thought about what will we do with that money, right? So the first thing that comes to a person's mind is, what is the purpose of this money, right? For what do I need to keep this money aside? And that is where the essence of actually the first step of financial planning begins. That is, I need money for XYZ things in life. If I'm able to quantify and say that I need X amount of money for a particular thing. So, for example, in our case, since all our parents, I'd like to just go with that example very clearly that I will need how much money for my son for his entire future. Today, he's 24 years old. I know that he's going to live a full life. I may not be there for all of his life, but I still know that I'm going to be there, hopefully, for a major portion of his life. But beyond that, there is going to be a whole portion of life where he will have to live without me. So if I have to think about, I need to keep money for my son for when I'm no more, then I need to quantify that. I need to be very clear that, okay, today's money terms, if I'm spending, say, anywhere between 30 to 40 to 50,000 rupees per month say for my sons, he goes out to a vocational course, he has therapists that he's going to, he has therapies, which are happening at home. Then there are some classes that he's attending online, all of this. Then he has some medication, all of this put together. Roughly, if let's say for just ease sake that, I'm spending, suppose we're spending 50,000 rupees per month. Now, for it's in the distant future when I'm saying that he's going to be, say, 40 years old. At that time, how much money will I need when he's 40? So I need to sit and figure out that today's 50,000 rupees will become how much at the age of 40. There is something very wicked called inflation that, is in our lives, because it keeps on happening every year. Whatever you were buying, when you were younger, whatever you used to buy, that has become much more expensive today when we go to buy the same product. Therefore, in the future also, it will be even more expensive than it is today. So, factoring in that, today's 50,000 will become how much in the future is what we have to figure. Okay. Roughly, inflation is supposed to be 6%, year on year over an entire decade. So that means, every 7 years, you can say, literally, this amount will be doubling. That's the kind of way inflation works. So we have to think about that at his age of 40, how much money will I need? And that is the purpose of this money that I'm saying in a particular bucket, in one of the buckets. There are many buckets. The bucket will be one for, as long as I'm alive, I need to have enough money to take care of us for our daily expenses. I need to have enough money for health. Today I have my mother with me. I'm providing for my mother, so I should have enough money for her. Tomorrow, if I want to buy another house, then I need to have enough money to buy a house. Then, I need to go on a vacation. So then all of these are different buckets that we have in life for which we need money. So this is first thing is the purpose. Next comes therefore the plan. So um, what happens is that to figure out how much money I need, I have to put the amount next to it. I have to put the year in which I'm going to need the money, and I'm putting it as a bucket. That is the plan part of it. The next step for that is how much money do I already have today? So that is about over the years I've been saving, no? I've been saving some money and I've been investing that money also. That is the second step. So then we have to figure out that this money that I already have invested, is that enough for all this future money that I'm going to need? So there is a plan that comes in place where a planner sits with you and helps you understand that, okay, in the future you're going to need so much money and today you have so much. And along the way also you will keep earning money. Every year, every month you're earning money and you will keep investing towards it. So with all of this money, is it going to be enough for that need? That is the whole part of this whole plan and process that has to be done, which has to be religiously followed, because every year people's goals also change. What you think today that, I feel that I need an X amount of money for a particular need, tomorrow it may be X plus X, it may be 2X also, it could be just completely double, or it could be half also. You say, no, I don't need so much money, I think I estimated wrong, I need only half of it. Or, perhaps that goal is not there only anymore. So I don't need money for this at all. I'm not going to buy a house. So then you drop that goal. So therefore, this process of planning has to be done year on year. Every year, goals change. What I've seen over the last 18 years of being as part of this entire planning process for so many families has clearly indicated that financial planning is not to be done, once and then forgotten. It has to be revisited again and again, and you have to sit down with somebody who will handhold you and guide you through it. Finally comes the products. Where should I invest? So we call this purpose, plan, process, and products. That is the whole step of financial planning. Today in our market, there are many products, right? From, you can say a PPF, fixed deposits. There are equity in the equity market, there are stocks, then there are mutual funds, then there are, many other complex kind of funds also. Property is also a product. Gold and jewelry is also a product. All of these are a whole lot of assets that you can invest upon. So this is the whole step by step process of financial planning. So to answer your question, I hope I told you what
Yeah,
is
yeah.
planning. Yeah.
Now I got a proper thing. I understood it's a recurrent thing to be done. And it's
Yes.
not, they are not just two words. Financial planning, they have more meaning than just
Absolutely.
those two words. I
Yeah.
understood. Yeah, thank you. And it was very absolutely and very nicely explained, Chitra.
Yeah.
And why do you think it is so essential for a parent of a child on the spectrum?
Yeah.
We need to plan in advance, right? Is
Yeah.
it because of that?
So purposely I took that example, right? I could have taken
Mhm.
another example that, what if we want to just buy a house? Then we would have set aside money. But in case of us, our group of parents, our whole entire group of special needs parents, we have to set aside money for ourselves and then for when we are gone. So there is another
Absolutely.
separation. Like in other families, children grow up, they become adults, they start working, they start. A lot of our adults are also earning, right? They are also earning very well. Across the spectrum, there are some children who are doing beautifully and they are actually working in very respectable jobs. They are running businesses of their own. There may be very small enterprises that they're running at home also, and they're earning monies. But for families where, the income is not sufficient that their children are earning, that means the child is not going to be able to earn for his or her own self-sufficiency. There the parent has to provide for that money, right? So in our case, it becomes different where we cannot say that, my child will earn for themselves and they'll fend for themselves. That's not going to happen. We have to provide for ourselves for as long as the child is alive and with us when we are alive. And when we are not there, we have to provide for the next generation, which is for them. So therefore, it becomes very different and it becomes very, very important. Another important point I would like to make here is why should a parent think about financial planning for their child? A lot of people think, "Nee, it will be done, it will get done. In the future, things will happen. I have enough. I have a lot of money." And there are people who also say that, my family is there. I recently met somebody who said, my whole entire family is there. They will take care of my child. My joint family is there. Why do I need to do anything? I don't need to do anything in terms of planning at all. So here I have a sincere request to everyone that what you know about your child, nobody else will know enough. It is our responsibility to see to it that we write down properly, we document what is required for a child. We document in terms of even the needs, financial needs of a child properly. And we inform this to other people also. Other people need to know about our children because it's not that we're going to be there forever. Of course, yes, even if tomorrow we have a particular illness, like during COVID, there were so many families where parents got admitted, both parents of a special needs child along with the child also got admitted. A lot of our doctors who are in our parent support group helped them out. And the constant worry was that, what if something happens to me? Then who is going to take care of my child? Right? So that fear is always there in us, much way beyond other families, because there we know that the child at least has some understanding and will be able to take care of themselves. They will at least be able to say that, I need this, I don't like this, I like that, I want to do this, I discussed this with my parents, etc. In our children's case, they're not going to be able to clearly state that need also. All the more reason that we need to be extremely careful and write down very clearly what is required for a child so that others who are going to step into our shoes after us will be able to do the same for our children. Similarly, even in terms of understanding where all money should be invested in such a way that money earns money. Money also should work for us, right? It's not enough if you earn the money and then you go and just keep it in the bank. Today, when you put money in the bank in an FD, it lands up earning you lesser than that inflation rate, which I mentioned is of 6%. After you pay tax on a fixed deposit, you land up earning much lesser, around 4.5 to 5%. You don't even beat inflation. That means every 100 rupees that you earn is actually become minus by the next year. Okay. So very important point in terms of financial planning is you need to, for sure, learn to invest your money wisely, understand what kind of risks you are willing to take, and therefore what is the return against it. Today in our industry, or rather for everyone, you get calls from people randomly trying to sell you some products. You get calls from banks, you get calls from insurance companies. All of them are trying to pitch you products. Now the person who is on the phone is saying, madam आप ये ले लेंगे, आप शेयर मार्केट में हैं तो आप ये करेंगे. No, that person doesn't know you at all. He's not sitting down with you to understand, okay, this is Vani. Vani has a daughter. I need to be very careful when I'm planning for Vani and Venu. I should be very, very careful that, their money never, 100 never becomes 99. I should see to it that the money earns very well for their own future and for the future of their child. They're not thinking that. So the market is plagued with products. There are so many people out there where it is purely greed based, because the person who is selling it is making a huge amount of money on it. When they are making a huge money on it, they're not sitting into trying to understand that, who is this person? This is a special needs family. I need to be careful about where their money is getting invested. Therefore, as a parent, you yourself needs to be strong. You should be careful, and you should understand that, okay, I need all of this money, and therefore, what am I doing about it? As is there somebody sincere who understands me, who is handholding me, and is helping me in this entire process of financial planning? So to sum it up, basically understanding that I need money to take care of the future of my child, even after me, that is a very strong need. Second is the quality of where I'm going to invest. So that I need to do financial planning properly. Third, this is a repetitive process. I need to do it sincerely again and again, so that it is all going as per a particular plan, and it will be available in a safe place that is accessible for my child. That's why financial planning for.
Yeah, and I got one point in that very clearly, that we have to think from base level, not just thinking. The planning as such is not just thinking for the child. From base level, we need to keep the plan on and on.
Yeah.
And there is Indrani says the calculations are very complex, and she agrees to that.
Correct. Absolutely.
From
It's
the
not
audience.
easy. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
quite difficult also. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it is not rocket science. If you actually have someone who sits and explains this to you nicely, you will understand it. It's about you taking out time. I have this whole grudge towards all families who say that, "Ha, ye to karna hai." But I mean, at one end, I also feel sad, because apart from all the therapies and apart from everything that you have to do for your child, the other thing that you also have to do is this. And those people who don't like maths and those who don't like to understand and do money related planning, they say, please don't allow me to do, I don't want to do this, I do that later, someone else will do it for me. All of these kind of answers I get. But then I say that, see, this is your child. If you don't do it, someone else, there could be financial abuse. If someone runs away with your hard earned money, then what? You have to secure all of this money to see that your child gets it properly. And you have to secure this money for yourself also. You need to live a good life. You need to live that happy life with your child. And for that, whatever needs to be done, please give some time for this separately. Understand it. And all these complex things, are in this whole finance space, people like to jargonize and throw all these terminologies at you. But actually, it can be made and explained very simply. Till now, whatever I said, you understood now, Ani. So it is not difficult.
That's what I came to say. I came to break you in the middle for that only. Now only I understood properly. The word understood, I understood. Now I understood. Like
I'm happy.
you
I'm
used
very
those
happy.
fancy words. I was thinking financial planning are two fancy words. Till date, I don't know about the other people. I'm just saying. Personally, I felt it was going to be some fancy words. I just thought they were some fancy words. Now
And
you
people
explained
get
it so
scared,
beautifully.
Yeah.
No, I was really scared. I'll tell you the truth. I was really scared. But you made it so simple. You made, just in the matter of just 15, 20 minutes, no, I could actually know what it was.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful to you, Chitra, for that. And having said that, you think to ensure the child's interest and safeguarding after me, you know, is it necessary to establish a trust? That's the other next question.
Sure.
Very important.
So, I'll combine this with the other document also that parents always think about, that is a will, right? Because, it's literally goes hand in hand. What is a will? A will is a statement of saying that after I'm gone, whatever I own needs to go to whoever I'm writing in that will. So in for our families, typically what we say is, so after I am gone, all that I have as investments or assets in my name, say there could be some house in my name, there could be some shares, there could be some mutual funds, there could be some gold in my name. All of this, there could be public, provident fund, employee provident fund. All of this should go to my husband. This is what I'm writing in the document. And then I'm writing after him, it should go to my child's trust. This is the way I write in the will. Similarly, my husband makes a will. He says after me, everything goes to my wife and then it goes to my son's trust. This is the flow. Okay. So first we've understood will. A will can just be handwritten also. It's a simple document that holds in court. Only it needs two witnesses, out of which ideally if one witness is a doctor, it's better. Okay, so this much so far is about the will. Now comes the private trust. What does a private trust do? A private trust is a legal entity in itself, first as per law. Okay, and a private trust is, you are telling whoever you want to tell around the world that I'm setting up this one small entity where I'm going to leave some money, and that money should only be for my child. Nobody else is allowed to touch it. This is what you're saying. That is the meaning of creating a private trust for us. Okay. Now, there are other people involved in the trust. So, first is, whoever is creating the trust is called a settler. That is us parents. Whoever are the trustees are the people the trustees are the people who are going to actually run the trust. So, we have to appoint trustees. Typically, we say that lawyers say preferably have 3 trustees, so that if there is any.
Sorry to interrupt. These trustees are going to do it after us or with us? Both.
You can do it when we are alive also.
Alive also.
So I'll explain that also. Trustees can be us as parents also. If we are ourselves trustees, we are only taking care of all the, instead of, operating our own bank account, we are operating the trust bank account. So the way it happens is, you set up the trust, you just prepare a trust deed is made, then you get a PAN card for the trust, then you open a bank account of the trust. Okay. So money, instead of being in our bank accounts, rests in the trust's bank account. So instead of investing from our bank account, we invest from the trust bank account. Okay, that is clear. So now there are 2 things here. Some parents feel, I don't have any trustees who can take care of my child's money. I don't have such people in my life. I don't know who to trust. And therefore they appoint themselves as trustees. Okay. Now, what happens is, along the way, you have to therefore find other trustees, because when you've passed away, somebody else should be there to also continue your job. The best way to do is that you have these trustees when you're alive. So you can teach them where to invest, where you prefer what to do, who are all the financial advisors you should interact with, how to operate the bank account for the trust, how to see that the money reaches your child, how you want that money to go, exactly how. So, like I was telling you, there are a lot of people who think, I have lots of money, I don't need to do financial planning, I don't need to do all of this. But till you don't create a vehicle to see that the money actually reaches your child, having enough money is just not enough. People think that I have lots of money, I have money in property. Well, tomorrow, if you need, is your child going to come and sell that property? Is the child going to be able to do that? No. You need to appoint people who will therefore sell that property. And then that money will get into the trust, and then the trustees will take care of the money requirements for your child. So this is the way, There are other people also who get involved in the process of the trust, where you can appoint a protector of a trust, you can appoint a managing trustee. These are all finer points. But ideally, if the trust is made, even if there are two children, when there is a sibling, even for the sibling to know that my parents are going to leave this much money for me and this much for my special needs brother or sister. So that money I will protect and take care for them. So you're making even your siblings' life easier. If you put all that money only in their account, they have to sit and take the call. Okay, now I'll spend so much. I'll spend so much on me. I'll spend so much on her or him. And then why leave that, even kind of confusion in their mind? Better to keep this aside. Say that, beta, all this money I've kept in the trust is for your sibling. You take care of, see that this money reaches him or her. This much money I'm leaving for you. This is my sincere request to all parents of two children also, because they feel, my child will take care of her. But that child also has a life. That child will have to go abroad, perhaps might, go and stay in the US, or, might have to go and, live in another
Study, of course,
country,
study, work, everything, career.
whatever. So to help them also understand this distinction, it always makes sense that, you make it easier for them. You write down all of this. You write it in the will. You put the money also in the trust, and in the will you write that after I'm gone, this much money should go into the trust. You write that now only, so that it makes the life of the trustees, one of whom will be your second child, their life also easier. Yeah.
And who is a sponsor? Of late, I hear this word
Yeah. So
very
this
commonly.
is the same thing. The settler, that is who, you and me, who are creating the trust. It's the same thing. There are only different lingos around it. That is all. The person who is setting it up.
So before I invest in any of the assisted living setups, what are the points to check? Because there's a lot of confusion, around this as well.
So, well, first of all, is the huge emotional decision itself. I'm sure I'm not going there, because I think your question is only about finances, right? It's only about money. So first, whoever takes a decision to go and check out a residential facility, the first thing I would request everyone to do is at least, look at least 5 or 6 or 7 that are already available in India. Go and see these places, or understand about all of these projects. There are enough documentations available. You can also go physically to see where the project is coming up. How far is it ready? Is it under, it's not even begun, or it's fully done, or it's already running? Go and see all of these places. Get a hold of all the finances. Therefore, how much will I have to pay? What is going to be the lump sum that I have to pay? What are the monthly recurring expenses that I have to pay? In the future, will this monthly amount also go up? Right? As my child continues living there. What about health related expenses? What about any other expenses that could be required? So first understand all of that for your own child. See that, compare with what you thought is is what you can spend in the future. Today you may be spending X amount of money already for your child. In the future, you might need to spend more, you might need to spend equal. So you have to understand that what they are saying that is going to be the expense, is it within your budget? Is it within what you were thinking? Again, factor in inflation. Like I explained, that today's money, the amount of money that you're going to spend, in the future, it may be much, much more. So then considering this, project which I'm picking up for my child in terms of a residential home, will I be able to take care of the entire lifelong expenses for my child? So let's just take a concrete example. Today, my child is 24. Maybe He will go to live in a residential setup at age 40. And I feel that he will comfortably live till age 70 at least. So that means I have to plan for today's 24 to 40, he'll be with me. So that goes at part of monthly expenses. But from age 40 to 30, if I'm not there, then what is the expense that that residential facility is saying that we'll have to spend? So that you have to first write down. Then you have to also look at, okay, will there be any lump sum amounts that I have to spend? So for example, I'll just take Swaniketan's example because it is very much around the corner. This is a project that we as part of Forum for Autism have been working along with a particular, Paranthve builders in Pune. And here we are thinking about that there are families, there are parents who are aged in their 70s. They're moving in with their children now who are already in their 40s, right? Now, for them, how will they think about it? They will say that, uh, what is the amount I have to pay to buy a flat there? So, say it is a crore and 25 lakhs. So, that means the first amount is that you have to write down. That is the lump sum I have to pay. Next, how much expenses would be there for myself, that is for the couple, and for my son? So that will have to be determined. So you'll have to understand from the project that maintenance cost of the flat, maintenance cost of maybe it's a community, I might have to pay for the roads, I have to pay for water, I have to pay for gas. What is the cost? You have to understand that from the builder. Then you have to understand that for my child, is my child going to stay in a particular hostel room? What is that going to cost? So how much is that monthly? How much do I have to pay for the hostel fees? What all will happen in the residential center for my son? Is he going to go to a vocational center there? Is he going to be doing some artwork? Is he going to have some therapy related work? Is he going to go for occupational therapy plus speech therapy even there? What all are the costs involved? So then I need to factor in that cost. Some children may, parents may say, my child is going to still do some further course. So they are going to study. So then, even though they are in that residential facility, that money will have to be spent. So then all of these costs have to be noted down, and the inflation that is that will hit all of these costs. Today, if something is 25,000, in a matter of 7 years, it will become 50,000. After that, it will become a lakh. After that, it will become 2 lakhs. So all of this needs to be factored about over this period of time. How much is that money that is going to impact me? All of this needs to be calculated at our end, and then we have to arrive at that, yes, I think financially I can get into this project, barring everything else about, I like the place, I like the way it's being run. I think there are some friends of mine also who are shifting in there. The place is so beautiful that in the future it's going to be a very relaxing place for us to keep our child. All of those, you know, questions will always be there for the parent.
So it's not just about the child or the expense of the child, also of the couple.
Yeah,
And
because if the couple
the
is,
common.
suppose the couple is continuing to live where they are living, and the adult moves to the assisted living facility. So they have to think about how much we are going to
Double
spend
expense.
as long as we are alive, and they have to also think about the expense of the child.
Child as well. And
Yeah.
of course, as you said, the therapy related expenses, common expenses, we'll have to think about those things also. And the lump sum, of course,
Yes.
not just related to the liking of the place or the structure or the,
Absolutely. Yeah.
okay. That was very nicely explained, yeah. And we have somebody from the audience. Poonam Sumit is asking, how can I get help for financial planning for my autistic child?
Sure. We can always share. That you can meet us online, or you can meet us one on one, and we will take you through the entire process of doing all of this that I shared. Help you identify what are all the goals that are coming up in life, put a figure against it, understand that, okay, I have already so much money, is that enough for my family, for my child? And help you, even guide you through this entire process of what all needs to be done for uh, the actually investing the money, getting legally, understanding where all I need to invest, what are all the documents that are required for my child, what are all of these legal, wills, trusts, letter of intents, all of this that need to be made. There's one another very important point. I don't know if you're covering that one, is guardianship. Okay. When our child is beyond the age of 18, we also need to appoint ourselves as the guardian for a child in India. We have to appoint that we are the legal guardians for our child. Similarly, in the future, after us, somebody else will have to step into our shoes to be the guardian. What is the role of a guardian? The guardian is someone who will actually take care of the physical needs of the child. One aspect is money, right? Which is in terms of the creation of the trust. The other aspect is the physical well-being. Money is there, but is the child fine? Is the adult doing well? Every day checking on them and saying that yes, whatever I had designed, they ate well, they had their medicines, all of that. Wherever they are living, you have given that responsibility to somebody. But it is the guardian's responsibility to see that that person is doing it right. And then to ensure coordination with the trustees to see that the money reaches for the need of the child. Yeah, so I will just request Shilpa to share the details
No,
of.
there's the details of MFA, the links of MFA have been shared.
Has
That
been
is
shared.
what
Okay.
Shivali has told me just now. So that the parents can correct. Okay.
Right.
And of course, I think you spoke about the documents and papers that we have to keep in place. What are the things, documents that will have to be made legally and they have to be kept in place so that the special child. So after us, nothing goes amiss and there is no problem or delay when in creating all these trust or will or
I
whatever, that
really
they get
request all the
smoothly.
parents that do it when you are young and you understand how you want to go about all this. Even as we age, no, then it becomes difficult for us. And all of these things take time. Most important is for husband and wife to think through together. Don't don't get into a delayed mode, because later it is difficult for a single parent to take all these decisions.
Definitely, definitely.
Very strong request, huge sincere request to all parents is, do it now. Start discussing in advance. Start talking to each other. What will happen? Think about scenarios. Be very practical, because it is a huge responsibility for us. We cannot leave it to some Tom, Dick, and Harry after us to come and take decisions for our child. No, it's so difficult to do it when we are alive to think this through. Imagine after we are gone, if someone else says, "No, I will take care of whatever." Somebody comes and mismanages the money. It's not a joke. We should be very, very careful about this.
And it isn't fair also, no? When we are having so much trouble and difficulty getting things done, just like as you said, some outsider or stranger might they should have the
Yeah,
interest first, and they should
absolutely.
not mismanage the funds.
Yes,
And it is hard earned funds, of course,
correct.
and it should reach the child without any hindrance or problem. That
Yes.
is also very important. And there
That
is
is
a
the whole
question.
purpose. Yeah.
There is a question. Hmm. What is the minimum amount that one needs to have to start a trust? Can a single person or parent establish a trust? These
Yes,
are
you
the
can
two
establish.
questions.
You can establish a trust, and you can start with basic minimum money. There is nothing like you have to start a trust with 100 crores or anything like that. You can start with 10,000 rupees.
I think that friend got the answer. And I think that is so much of valuable information.
Yeah.
That is so much of valuable. I know, I thought I lost the connection.
Mm.
It was a lot of valuable information, Chitra, you shared just now. I think I don't know about the others, but personally, I got a lot of info and a lot of meaning to what I actually, whatever you spoke. Thank you so much. I think the pointers you have shared and they have thrown light to many of us, of course, to people who are watching as well, and many of us parents. Thank you, parents who are there with us live. And I think we knew the proper definition and also the importance of financial planning. We look forward to knowing more on this topic from you in the future as well, Chitra.
Sure
And
thing.
thank you so much for taking out time for this session in between your busy schedule. And
Most welcome. I think thanks to the Spectrum Autism, this project is very lovely. You all are interviewing so many people from the field every day. And I think it's a whole huge repository that is going to be very, very helpful for all the families. So big thanks from me to all of you that you're doing this wonderful work, and Vani, you're part of it.
and there is one more question. I think legal guardianship. Can you
Yeah,
explain further, Poonam? This one, Poonam has asked for that
sure.
about legal guardianship.
So there is the way to apply for a legal guardianship, which I said first, this child has to be 18 years old. Post that you apply for it online. Okay. Once you apply for this online, there is a proper process that you go through. You need to have your UDID card for this also ready. And there is a local committee which has been established by the National Trust. They will vet all your documents. They will call you for an interview, and then you will be given this legal guardianship as a document. The legal guardianship document, as I told you, in India, it is required for us as parents to appoint ourselves as a legal guardian first. You can do a lot of, therefore, anything that needs to be done legally on behalf of your child. For example, you're going in for a surgery for your child. You have to sign on a set of documents. You can sign, you can show the, when the doctors ask you, it's clearly written there that you're the legal guardian. You can provide the certificate. Suppose something happens and there is a police related instance and you land up there in the police station. You can show this document and say, I am the legal guardian of this child. I take decisions on behalf of my child. So for all such instances, you will need a document to that legal guardianship is a document that shows that you have the authority for doing everything legally on behalf of your child. Similarly, in the future, for money and for other things also, wherever it is needed, this document is extremely important.
Thank you so much, Chitra. That was really very clear explanation, I should say. And I think everybody is like, a little more enlightened with financial planning. And this is very, very, very useful session as far I am concerned as well. I'm very, very happy about it. And nice knowing so much of information from you, Chitra. Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
really look forward to hearing more from you
Sure. Sure.
in many of these sessions, I should say. Thank you
Thank,
so much, Chitra. Thank you,
thank you,
friends,
Mani.
for joining us today. Bye, and thank you. Good evening. Looking
Bye-bye.
forward to another TTE session. Bye, Chitra.
Bye.
Bye.